All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 0 to 1 event today on a Thursday. And as you know, we've been running these sessions for several weeks and months now. And today happens to be the 49th 0 to 1. That's a lot of 0 to 1 sessions, a lot of knowledge sharing. And next week, we will be celebrating our 50th 0 to 1 as well. And today we have a speaker from the Philippines, and she's Mary Rose Claudio. And Mary is going to talk about learning material. There's an acronym that she uses, RIOT, RIOT, and I'll let her explain what RIOT is. Basically, this is around creating engaging training material, useful training material, and training that people would love and learn. So, with that, Mary, over to you, and I'll stop sharing, and you can share your screen, introduce yourself, and start the session.
Thank you so much, Yasis and the team. Welcome, welcome. Let me just share my screen really quick. But just before I do that, let me just prepare. Okay, just 1 second. All right.
Yeah, we can see the screen, Mary. We can get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody, to the session. I'm so excited to be here today. And it is my complete honor to be a part of the roster of speakers for Doer Circle. And I'm also excited to be imparting so many things that are close to my heart for today. But, you know, just before we start, let me introduce myself to everybody. Okay, I am stirring the learning riot for today. Okay, what we want to do is hopefully help you guys rebel against boring training and spark some learning that actually sticks to you and to your participant and target audience. So, again, let me introduce myself. My name is Mary Rose M. Claudio, and my friends, colleagues, and family call me just M, just the letter M. I've been a learning rebel, designer, and a builder of your learning dreams since 2000, in the early 2000s. And let me just share with you my journey. So really, really quickly, um, I started as a customer service agent back in the early 2000s. So from customer service floors, I am now into leadership and development with one of the leading CX companies in the world, Foundever. All right. And I've designed and led, delivered, and hosted training rebellions with awesome results. Just to say or mention some feathers on my cap, I am a certified learning and development professional and a certified instructional systems designer from the Global Skill Development Council. On the flip side, also, my other world revolves around finances. I'm also a licensed insurance advisor in the Philippines, as well as a certified unit investment trust fund salesperson. So there's learning and there's financial services. That's the world that I revolve in. All right. And just to highlight some of my career journey from then to now, like what I mentioned, I'm a senior instructional designer from Foundever. Previously, I worked for IBM Business Process Services as a deputy manager for global training and quality, and an assistant manager for the same company for voice and accent training. Prior to that, was a company called eTelecare. I started out my training journey as a customer service trainer, customer client specific trainer to be exact, for a US financial services account. And my real journey started when I was an agent. So that's where all it began. Quick story time, and very interesting story that I want to share is that when I applied in this BPO back in the 2000s, right, there was my first exposure to what you call a role play. So in the recruitment process, part of it was I have to review like a sample catalog, right? And the recruiter will play the role of a customer, and I will have to service the call in just a few minutes during that particular interaction. Long story short, I didn't pass the role play exercise because the recruiter started to become irate, right? So I was deeply in shock and I was crying like a baby because I didn't expect that to be a part of the interview, right? But they gave me a chance. They did not promote me right away or gave me the post as customer service associate. During that time, it was the entry level. But they gave me my very first post as a receptionist just for me to get comfortable talking on the phone. A few months later, fast forward 6 months, when I was regularized, I got my first promotion as a customer service surveyor. For those who don't know what it is, long before artificial intelligence, social media, and alike, and automated surveys, there was a person who actually takes surveys after each call that a customer makes. So agents transfer the calls to us, to our team, the survey team. And what I will not forget about that experience is how much I've said the word satisfied in those probably 3 months. So the survey questions go like this: how satisfied were you with our agents' professionalism and courtesy? Were you very satisfied, satisfied, or dissatisfied? And I had to lick radio buttons. Next question: how satisfied were you with our agents' product knowledge and product knowledge about our services and products? Were you very satisfied, satisfied, or dissatisfied? How satisfied were you with our agents or with our overall call handling? Were you very satisfied, satisfied, or dissatisfied? So at least it ends there on question number 3. And question number 4 was like, are you calling from a home phone or a mobile phone? And the last question is the line clear or not clear? So that's day in, day out for 9 hours. That was my job. So I was thinking, goodness gracious, I finished like a 4-year course just for me to like click on radio buttons all day and hear the word or say the word satisfied so many times. But a few months later, I was finally promoted to customer service associate. I felt so accomplished, and that's where my real training on customer service happened. 2 years taking in calls. I fell in love with talking and teaching new agents our products and services, and then I became a trainer, and then the rest is history. There, a short story about me, the real survey person, so to speak. So that's something that I will never forget as part of my career, right? Okay, so let's get the ball rolling. Let us begin this riot. But just before we do that, I do want to set expectations to all of you that for this particular session to be more meaningful for us, and for me to also be able to check on your pulse and see how much you enjoy or learn from this session, and also want to hear your thoughts. So please make sure that you participate actively in our chat box. Just fire up the chat box. I don't think you can mic up, but just be able to like share all your thoughts in our chat box. We have a team of moderators who will also check in on your questions, okay? And we will also have a short Q&A after this short session, all right? And I do have a few online collaboration tools that I will use also throughout the session. I'll share it in the chat box, a Zoom chat box. So make sure that you allow your voices to be heard. Okay. So if anybody or everybody is ready, I just want to see some thumbs up or virtual emoticons showed up on screen so that I know that I can proceed. All right. Some hearts over there and thumbs up. Thank you very much. Very nice and very thoughtful of you. Oh. The question. No right or wrong answers in this session. Just what comes to your mind when you hear go to our chat box, okay, just to see Okay, so I'll give you like a few minutes to think about it, right? Now let's form a little word cloud rather. Please click on the link that I've sent on the chat box. It's called AnswerGarden. It will look something like this. Okay. Let me share it really quick here on our screen. Just give me one moment. There, I hope you can see it. Type your answers here. Okay, you have to go to the website, okay? You can't like type it on your screen. So I want to see like a word cloud come to life, right? Are they able to
Mary,
click the link?
did you
Yes,
put the link? Yeah, did you put the link in the chat thread?
I will do it right now.
Yeah, yeah.
There you have it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So can everybody answer? Can everybody access it? Okay, I haven't seen any responses yet. So go to the website, AnswerGarden. Yes, I can answer that. Thank you so much, Austin. All right, we don't have entries. I believe you guys have to access the link directly so that you can type in your responses. No? Okay, if you guys can access the link, feel free to fill in. Can access submitted. Awesome. Thank you very much. Let's take a look. I will do that. There you have it. Thank you so much. Very, very interesting. So let me just read out some of your responses. Boring. I saw that. Definitely tiring. Upskilling, classroom activities, skills development, etc. So it's very interesting to see that we have the word boring. Okay, why do you say so, right? I to be honest, most workplace corporate training, it actually sucks, just to be honest about that. But you know, it can be forgettable, and sometimes we feel that it's a complete waste of time. But there's one thing that we can do. And here's the thing, when there's resistance, there's a rebellion, and there's a rebellion, there's a riot. So here's what we can do starting today in order to make things more interesting for our friends, colleagues, you know, co-employees, and even our staff. Okay, let's facilitate something. Let's start, you know, an ROIT or a riot. Now, what do you think is very interesting about the training programs that you've actually attended that stuck to you? Right? So I want you to keep that in mind, right? The problem that we want to solve is we want to start a more engaging program for the people that want to learn from us. And hopefully by the end of this session, you'll know how to spark that riot in your own learning. So make things more relevant, you know, interactive at one point or the other, see outcomes or behavior changes, and also remember the stories that have been told throughout that learning session. Fire up the chat box with a thumbs up if you are ready to break the boring and start the riot. I want to see those thumbs ups or emoticons that you can share with us. Thank you so much. Even hearts, I see. Thank you. Okay, let's begin with the first one. Okay, relevance. Okay, time and time again, we've already said adults have no patience for irrelevant training. WIIFMs, or what's in it for me, is always the first thing in mind. Okay, If it doesn't help them now, they'll mentally check out in seconds. Entrepreneurs and freelancers especially demand return of investment on time, on their time and the efforts that I've exerted for training programs. Now, what do you think is one challenge that you face when you're trying to learn to train others? Let's go ahead and go back to our online collaborating tools to share that. Let me just share that in the chat box really quick. Start for everyone, okay. And this time it's a Slido, okay. Right, so this is what you will see, okay. Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry, I think I shared the wrong screen, hold on. Okay. So the question here is, share one analogy you use in your business to explain something a little complex, to make it, you know, a little dumbed down for your participants. Let's share that over. Okay, we want to see your answers. These tools remind me of COVID time online sessions. One question I have is, are they still popular? Very interesting question. My short answer is yes. Just because later I will answer. Yeah, but yes. And for us, instructional designers, at least for my team, we make it our lifelong mission to find various online collaboration tools that we can utilize for virtual training. Brick and mortar or face-to-face training, it's easy. It's generally easy to solicit participation, but for virtual events or virtual training, such as what we have right now, we have to get really, really creative. But yes, COVID time, online sessions, meetings and whatnot, engagement activities, they are all so popular during the pandemic. Thank you, Ken. Okay, let's move along. What am I trying to say here? In the pursuit of making sure that we want to capture the attention of our participants, they want to demand time and relevance, okay? The fix is that we start with the learners, what's in it for me? That's the first step in our RIOT, right? So what can I get out of this? If I attend this for X number of minutes or hours, what do I take away from it, right? I don't want to spend a significant amount of hours, maybe 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, you know, sitting through an e-learning. And this is particularly for e-learning, with me having to go through, click next. And it's just, after that, I just forget what I just went through, right? So in one of our projects in my company, we came up with a module on handling a multi-generational workforce. So in order for this particular module to fly and to capture the interest of our audience, because it's a varied audience in general, okay, the different generational cohorts such as the baby boomers, Generation X, millennials, and Generation Y, and even now Generation Alpha, but they're really too young. Okay, we want to make sure that they can relate to whatever topics or whatever that we're discussing. So one of the great topics in this module is motivation. So what motivates a generational cohort, and how do we compel them to either comply on something, coach them on something, or whatnot? Because we are a company with diverse backgrounds and different generational cohorts, we have to be able to adapt quickly, right? So this is one of the many topics that you can think of, even for women empowerment. We wanted to release a module on women empowerment in time for Women's Month for our um, women at Foundever ERG, or employee relations group. So make sure that you have something that's relevant to your audience. If it's AI, if it's fintech, if it's DEI, make sure that it's something that is relatable to them. Otherwise, you lose them and they'll easily tune out. And that's something that we want to avoid. Okay, to address Ken's question on the next one, okay, the next part of our riot, um, interactions. We want our programs to be interactive, right? Like in this particular short webinar, I want you guys to be heard, okay? Whether you agree with me, disagree with me, or your co-participants, that's fine, because I want you guys to join us and be involved and be present, not just a very passive listener or audience. So passive learning is equal to fast forgetting. Interaction doubles the retention. It keeps the person interested. So it doesn't have to be complicated, small moments of activities, chat boxes, mic ups, Slidos, Mentimeters, polls, word clouds, they keep your learners engaged. In one of our modules, again, the multi-generational workforce, our participants got so excited when they saw something like this, like a very old school game, right? So it's just a multiple choice type of question embedded in a gamified activity, okay? The photo below that is a mystery solving activity. Again, it's just a multiple choice activity hidden in a mystery box type of gamified solution. Get creative. Again, these are things that we got from online tools that are free, that we leveraged on, experimented on, and embedded in our training. Don't limit yourself with just, multiple choice, true or false. Always ask yourself, how can I better present what I want them to learn through another platform or another way? Okay. It can just be as easy as a little game like this, or solve the mystery, a case study. Oh, absolutely. I can share some of the tools with you guys. With this particular thing that you see here, all right, I typed it down. We leveraged on Genially, okay? And to be honest, do you know where I discovered it and shared it to my team? Through my son's school. So there's also if you want interactive, like leaderboard type of stuff, we have what you call quizzes, or it's now named as WIIFM. So his assignments were plugged in, his math assignments were plugged in WIIFM, and then for every time you answer correctly, the fastest, and you can do it multiple times, there's an interactive leaderboard. So it's not just your usual, paper and pen assignment. So there's so many tools that we get to use. Get creative with it. Get your participants working. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Get them to work. Okay, now let's take a look at another example. Okay, I want to ask you also another simple question, but just before I do that, let me find the link to where I want to show. Okay, so for a very easy polling activity, I know that Zoom has it, Teams has it, but just so people can see another screen, so to speak, I want you guys to answer the poll that I shared on screen, okay? Which of the following formats keep you most engaged? Is it lecture style? Is it polls or quizzes, stories, discussions, or hands-on activities? Share your quick answers to this quick poll? Absolutely can. Keep them active so it doesn't become boring. It's not just about you, it's all about the participants. Are they getting what you're trying to say? Okay, remember, there are two things you want them to achieve after training. You want to know if they know what you're trying to teach them or if they can do it themselves after. So if you don't practice them in training, you'll never find out. Okay, let's take a look at the results. Let's see. I have no results yet. Okay. Again, please go over to easy polls just for us to see which one is the type of format that keeps most of you guys engaged in training. Okay, let's see. So again, lecture style, stories and discussions, and hands-on activities. Okay. No answers yet. Let's refresh. Stories and discussions and hands-on activities. That's 0 for lecture style and not so thrilled about polls and quizzes. Very interesting answers. With that, okay. With that, let's take a look at the next one. Okay. Outcomes. Here's a brutal truth. Training that doesn't change behavior at all is just entertainment and a waste of time. The real ROI for us entrepreneurs, freelancers, employees, employers is not what people learn per se, but what they can do differently after. I was talking to my boss at one time saying that he was coming up with a time management course and he shared various time management tools, Eisenhower matrix, and the like. And I said, if we can compel our HR employees to apply one of any of these tools, we've done our job. And true enough, even after I took his course as a peer reviewer, I learned a lot from it and I applied one. And for me, that's a big win as a designer or instructional designer. Again, this is who I am before, let's say, very scatterbrained and I don't know how to prioritize which task needs to go first. But after taking the course, I take away one thing that I use, let's say the Eisenhower matrix. Remember that in a quadrant, you know, urgent, important, not urgent, not important, not important, not urgent. So be able to like manipulate the list of tasks that you have and put it in a quadrant and really follow it to a T. For me as a designer, it's a win because that's change in behavior. All right, I do have a question here. How did you get into instructional design? It seems fascinating. Very quickly, just to answer that, just to scratch the itch of answering that question, I started out as a trainer, as a facilitator for about 2 years. But then again, when we had downtime for training, we were asked to come up with modules, both for client-specific training and for foundations training or communications training. I fell in love with being behind the scenes, crafting engaging activities. And I feel like, and when we're hiring for instructional designers, it's a must that you must have been a trainer first, because you have to know what it is like to stand in the classroom and deliver programs. In paper, it might be fantastic, but when somebody else delivers it, it may be a disaster. Okay, so thank you, Sharon, for asking that question. It's a wonderful, wonderful world, and I'm still learning up until this day. All right, now let's go to the next. Okay. All right, stories, tales. one of our multimedia managers in our company is an excellent storyteller. When she was sharing with us the art of storytelling in module creation or video creation, she shared with us the 3-act storytelling structure. There's also the Disney Pixar, if you are familiar with that. But, this is a very interesting and a very easy to follow structure. Okay. When you are sharing, let's say, a coaching journey or a coaching journey of a coach, right? In a call center setting. Okay. We made it a point that we infuse a story. Okay. Meet Sam. So this is her background, this is her problem, this is what her challenges were. And from beginning to end, apart from imparting knowledge, skills, techniques, there's a real scenario where people, employees can relate to. Follow her journey from beginning to end. She was having problems in the beginning, the struggles, that's the conflict. And then there's going to be a climax. And then, eventually it will lead to the ending. Okay. Facts fade, you guys, but stories stick. People remember narratives because they feel something, they can relate to it, right? If not them, somebody else. As trainers or coaches or entrepreneurs, our job is to turn very dry concepts into stories that learners can see themselves in or they've seen others in. Okay. So in the chat box, share with me, you guys, one emoji that represents how you felt during your most boring training that you've ever sat through. Okay, so the funnier the emoji, the better. Okay, show me. Exactly. Perfect, Sharon. And I think, oh, thank you, Cecile, for sharing that as well. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So simple analogies and stories, simple stories can transform your message and they can be your anchor in communicating your message. If it's a little complicated or harder to absorb, infuse stories or situations, case studies. Examples, let's say information security awareness. How many of us in this room have actually attended information security or awareness campaigns where you're not supposed to do this or not supposed to do that, but you can't see yourself. How do I apply that? That's why it's better that, you infuse it with scenarios or cases that are realistic in the workplace, not at home, not somewhere else, but in the workplace, especially if you are talking about security in the workplace. Okay, so reading out the comment in the chat box, it's very true, so true. They can be so conceptual and abstract sometimes. Even for the other world that I live in financial services, okay, there's numbers, projections, computations. It can be a lot, right? So especially if you're going to communicate that with a client, let's say, a businessman or a housewife or, a mom or teacher, whoever, and you want to sell, let's say, UITFs. How can you better explain that to any person? They say that you have to be able to explain it as if you're talking to a 7-year-old. Yes, even finances, life insurance, mutual funds, investments. How can you explain it to a customer or a client as if they were a 7-year-old, even if they are about to bring in multi-million peso dollars in investments? They have to be able to understand it from the very beginning. Okay, there. Now, okay, so that's our example. Now it's your turn. Okay, so if you want to disrupt boring training or even coaching sessions, doesn't have to be training, even coaching sessions, begin your own riot. Okay, make it relevant, make it interactive, make it behavior changing, life changing, outcome driven, and tell stories that hit the participants' hearts. Okay. Emotional hooks, guys, are very, very powerful. We usually begin our online training with emotional hooks. I remember my bosses always saying, "Where's the emotional hook in your module?" Because on the first few slides or in the first few units, I will totally not go to the next if you don't capture my emotion in the beginning. So that's something that we also want to put into consideration. Okay. I want you guys to drop the word RIOT if you are ready to spark one in your learning programs. Thank you, Kim. Welcome. Thanks, Cecile. Sharon, thanks very much. Wally, thank you very much. Austin, very good. Thank you so much. And as Yasa say, please ask your questions either here or in the Q&A section, and we will discuss them. Actually, right now, we do have the time to do that. Thank you,
Yes,
Rose.
yes.
Thanks, Yasa.
Thank you very much, Mary. That was very good, interesting, and inspiring, and also engaging as you are preaching, right? You also have to do it yourself in an engaging manner. Thank you
Yes.
very much. Okay, Austin has raised his hand. Um, okay, I think it went down. Okay. If you have any questions, you can also raise hand. I'll let you speak. Otherwise, you can ask your questions in the Q&A section or even the chat thread. That's fine. One question I had, maybe was on the activities. I think that question also came through in the chat thread. In online meetings or online training sessions, um, is there enough room to create enough activities because people are limited to a screen compared to offline in-person activities? What are your thoughts on engaging activities online, and maybe a few more pointers as to what you can do to engage the audience and get them active, get them busy, as you said?
What I have learned from the multiple online sessions that either conducted or attended is that, um, again, getting somebody to type alone is important. Okay. Whether it's an emoji. And if you want to be, it's easy to just type anything, right? So sometimes, some speakers would say type one if you are enjoying, type two. There's like a multiple choice, right? So they would have to find one, two, or three, or some can be very tricky. Like what I did earlier, type the exact emoji that describes your feeling when you attended the most boring training that you've attended. So it will require them to like scroll and really look for the exact emoji that describes their feeling, right? So there's active participation. In our company and as an instructional designer, we are active learning rebels. Like we really promote active learning. It's not about us, it's about the participants. Talk to me about what you understand with what I said. If we can only do that right now, right? But they're muted. But like talk to me about what you learned today. Like really, really quickly. What's the one thing that you can take away from this discussion and apply in your daily lives? And again, like what I said, there are various online collaboration tools that you can leverage on. And again, I discovered it through my son's school. Because of the pandemic and because teachers want students to be engaged, they thought of and they looked for various tools that can engage the learners. They're very young learners. They have to sit there from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And imagine if this is the only setup that we have, or just a chat box, the kids will die of boredom. So something like that. There's a lot of available um, free tools that you can leverage on. One favorite of ours is what you call a Padlet. Okay, let me see if I can share an example of that. One sec. So you can play with this, you guys, while you guys are in the room. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So, and let's do it together, you guys. I want to hear what you guys learned from this session. Okay, so what's one action you'll take to make learning more engaging for your participants? Okay, this is what it looks like. And I will share the link. Just give me 1 second. So if there are other questions though, sorry, let me just. Okay, 1 second. We do have a commitment wall. So, okay, wait. Here you go. Okay.
So we click on the link.
Yes, please click on the link. This is what you'll see. On the lower right-hand corner, there is a plus sign. Okay, so I'll do the demo. And then I can just say my pledge. If I can spell it right, yeah. Okay. You can either upload a file, share a link. You can even post your photo if you want, right? And this is where you can type your pledge. And all you have to do is click on publish. And there you have it. That's me. Invisible Zebra says test. And we can even like or comment your there.
Correct.
And
this is
even
to
after
engage the audience.
Yeah, real time. I want to see
Right.
if I have 9, 10 participants in this Zoom room, then I should see 9, 10 posts. And I will immediately know if somebody is not participating. Right? So you want them to voice out. They don't want to mic up, be a keyboard warrior. Hit the plus sign and then, enter your thoughts. So I see some people typing away. So this is one of our favorite tools actually. Unfortunately, for the free version, you're only limited to 3 Padlets. Oh, there you go. Less lecturing, more storytelling from Sharon. Okay. Your session is very practical. Why, thank you. Let me just, and you can actually see me commenting there. All right. What about the rest? Okay. Mysterious drown. Okay, let's just give a few seconds. I want to develop courses, says a passionate Puma, that will encourage participants to think, to be present, and to be able to share what they have learned to others. Challenge accepted. Let us brew another riot. Why don't we? Right.
All right. Maybe I'll ask another question.
Absolutely.
Yes, you are an instructional designer, and someone said it's an interesting job.
Yes.
Just for us to understand, what does your job look like on a day-to-day basis? What do you actually do?
Very interesting. Thank you for asking that. An instructional designer, I'll use an analogy so that it's easy for you guys to understand. Think of a teacher who does lesson plans. Nothing but lesson plans. That's who I am.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So in the professional world, there are people like me, and like in this Zoom room, my team is actually here. Thank you so much for the support, you guys, who come up with learning programs for leaders, frontliners, mid managers, etc. So a need is communicated to us, right? So stakeholders come to us and say, just like with Passionate Puma, right? I want to develop a course for leaders. I want them to be more accountable for what they do on a daily basis. I don't say yes right away. I ask questions. Okay. This is where the training needs analysis happens. We diagnose what seems to be the problem. What made you say that your leaders are not accountable for what they're doing? Right. So I ask those important, I don't just, jump and create my, Word document. This is the type of training that you need. There are a lot of questions asked, and that is done in the discovery phase. We discover who our participants are, what our stakeholders need. And very, very important of it all, and this is one thing that our stakeholders know about our team. How do we say that our program is successful? The measure of success has to be there. Otherwise, it's just a waste of our time and also the time of the intended audience. If we can't identify that in the beginning, you will surely see a resistance. Okay, so that's who we are, and that's the fast. And then after that, that's when we come up with our general lesson plan, okay, which answers 4 major questions. What is the whole idea or big idea about this session or this program? Number 1. Number 2, what are the essential questions that this course needs to answer? That if I don't see it there, it's going to be irrelevant. Number 3, what do learners or participants need to know, even on the surface? Okay. Number 4, what do learners need to be able to do after the session? Actually, there's a 5th one. How do I know that they know what they're supposed to know and they're able to do what they're supposed to do? That's my evidence of understanding and learning. We put it together in a very extensive document. There's a whole science behind it, even before we design the program in the intensive lesson plan. After which, we design it in specific tools. Let's say authoring tools, articulate storyline, Rise, load it in SCORM, and then share it with our audience. So it's a whole mental, calisthenics for us. That's who I am as an instructional designer.
Sure. Thank you very much. We have a question from Sharon, Mary, and the
Sure.
question is, what are some of the best techniques to turn dry material into an approachable narrative?
Let me give a thought there. Again, have them do something. Give me an example of anything like driest of the dry material that you have. Have them think or get their opinion about something in your topic. What do they feel about it, right? Because that's one way of gauging if they know much about the topic or they know little about the topic, okay? Put scenarios, put stories, put statistics. That's also something that's interesting. Put case studies, gamify it. You want to teach somebody how to prompt or use prompt engineering? Do it by a scaffold manner, right? If you want me to draw, let's say, a cat, how would you do that to me as an initial activity? Draw a circle on a clean sheet of paper, draw a circle and then a triangle on top. But that's where you will discover the way of thinking of a person or a participant. Okay, some can be very, very detailed. Like, for example, somebody will say, draw a circle, but somebody will ask where. So what I would do would be on a piece of paper, on a clean sheet of paper, and right smack in the middle, draw a circle, draw triangles to serve as the ears, etc., etc. So get them to do something. It's called active learning. To learn more about that, you can read up on the active learning classroom. Very, very interesting take on participant learning. Okay, that's a big X for, for passive learning. So it will really require your participants to think, to do, and apply. I hope I answered your question, Sharon.
Yes. Sharon, if you have any follow-up questions, you can ask as well.
Yeah,
Another
absolutely.
question, Mary, do you use Canva, PowerPoint, or Google Slides? I believe this is more for the presentation side of it. You explained that you do lesson planning
Yep,
also, but then it also has to be converted into material.
yep. Um, I will be honest, I don't really use Google Slides, but my son does a lot, right? But PowerPoint, less and less of that. Canva, because it's so easy to use and there are built-in templates and all that. Yes, I do that, but not for Foundever, not for our company, because our materials are highly branded, right? And also we use authoring tools, and we brand them using our Foundever brand. Less and less of PowerPoint. That's what I'm gonna say. There's a lot of e-learning or online training happening, very self-paced, but we also partner it with workshops. It's never enough that you just deploy uh, e-learning. It has to be, especially if it's a skill building topic. For example, you want to teach somebody how to sell, right? You cannot just limit it and expect the person to be a good salesperson after taking an e-learning course. I have to see it. I have to experience it. They have to make mistakes. They have to fail. They have to face rejections, real time, be able to recover. So, on a tools perspective, it really depends on what you're comfortable with, what's available, and what you think is most useful. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Mary. We don't have any more questions. Um, Maybe I'll ask one last question. In your career, what do you think is the next phase going to look like?
My career?
Yes, yes.
Maybe I should call my boss to answer that. No, just kidding. No. I do love instructional design. Maybe for my you're asking for my career path, so to speak.
Yes.
Now I am serving like our PH APAC learning and development team. We are more um, geared towards going global. So hopefully we get to join, and we are going to join our global learning team in the very, very near future. That exposes us to more instructional designers, more useful content, extremely innovative talent. So
Right.
that's very exciting for me because my exposure has been HR, learning and development. Now, if we do go global, it can be anything and everything under our company's umbrella. So we're gonna go for global gold.
Sure. I can see Austin has his hand up. I'll allow you to talk, Austin, then you can ask. Oh, no, I see the hand is down now, so maybe you don't have a question. So, all right, then we will wrap it up there, Mary. Thank you very much for such an engaging session and such a useful session as well. That's all right, Austin. So thank you for everyone who joined, and this will also go up on YouTube as well, so more people can learn from this session. And Mary, thank you very much again. This was a really
Thank
good
you so
session.
much, Yasis and Doer Circle. And for everybody on the Zoom, if you do want to connect with me, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm Claudia. I'll see you guys. Thank you very, very much. And thank you for my to my team for the support. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.